When you share...
This is Let's Get Jacked Up on Fringe Radio Network.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. To support and defend. The Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. And to bear true faith. And allegiance to the same. That I will obey. The orders of. The President of the United States. And the orders of. Those officers appointed over me according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
I'm Gunnery Sergeant Harley Ermey. On November 11th, all over this nation, people celebrate Veterans Day with parades, barbecues, maybe even a sale down at the mall. Americans have been observing November 11th for nearly a century now, so long that some of us have actually lost sight of exactly who a veteran is and why we honor them.
A veteran is a person who serves in the United States Army, or Navy, or Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard.
Everybody having fun?
We play at our shows for veterans. They're serving for our beliefs and our rights, and that's amazing stuff.
To me, a veteran is someone who has served our country as a patriot and as a privilege, not just a job. It's a person with character.
A veteran is anyone who served their country. It doesn't have to be during time of war. It's those people who have given a portion of their life in service to our country so that we can have the freedoms we have.
Freedom! America is a land populated by people of many colors, creeds, ethnic backgrounds, and religions. But there is one common characteristic that we all share. We all want to be free.
Freedom lets you decide who you are. Without freedom, you're not much of an individual.
It is precisely because our nation stands for freedom that in America, all dreams are possible.
Freedom isn't free. Someone's got to pay the price. Someone's got to protect the freedoms that we have.
Coming to you live somewhere deep in Fresno, California, it's Let's Get Jacked Up! Sinners Saved by Grace. Here are your hosts, Tim, Bobby, and Karen. Welcome to Let's Get Jacked.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
How are you?
Stop it. Oh, and it's got the echo. Come on. So disgusting. I cannot. Oh my gosh, Tim, turn it off.
You can't. It's just stuck.
That's who I am.
Oh, happy Veterans Night, everybody.
Veterans. Vitamins.
How are you, everybody?
Yeah, good. Good. I spent the evening at my buddy's house helping him and his wife put a box together, I guess. It was a cabinet?
A cabinet, yes.
Putting a cabinet together.
And I appreciate your help. I mean, their friend does.
Yeah. I didn't want to give it away.
So we were a little late. Okay, way late. But hey, We're here,
Well,
aren't we?
that stupid box has been sitting in your entryway for what, like 3 months now?
And nobody did anything about it.
Because it weighs so much. It was like
Oh
one
my
of those
gosh.
things that, like, once you got it through the
Listen,
door, you
if
just
I
kind of
moved
left
it-
it there.
If I moved it, I have a hernia. All
It's
right?
probably it was probably about 400 pounds.
No, it wasn't.
Maybe
You're not
not.
that strong. Slow down.
It was about 400 pounds. I'm not kidding. It was about 400 pounds.
Yeah, it was heavy, and it was big and bulky, and that's just the box. So
I thought you were going to say, and that was just the bob. That's big and bulky.
So after all of that, the stupid box has been sitting in the hall in the entryway for however long. It's missing a part.
Yeah, it is. And had we had opened it the day it came, we could have dealt with it a lot differently.
yes, howdy, Michael Basham. How are you this evening?
Oh, the chips were for you, Michael.
Yes,
Let's get another round of chips, honey. Shall you?
Michael Basham. He's been traveling the United States of Americans.
Americans.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't know where he is now, but he was in Hawaii. Then he went to San Diego.
Oh, there he goes.
San Diego. Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so
And,
disgusting.
You're the one who told me to do it.
Still waiting for those chips, though, Michael. But I think we're next time you're in Hawaii.
Oh my gosh,
No, he had like 4 bags of those chips.
what were they?
Now I forgot, but they're good.
The Maui's.
Are they the
Sweet
Maui
Hawaiian
Wowie
or
ones?
something,
Yeah. I've heard those are pretty good.
Yeah, and he says we're in the Smoky Mountains now. Smoky Mountains. Oh,
Wow.
Smoky in the mountains.
Ain't you fancy?
Oh, I like the Smoky in the mountains.
Now, is he
gosh.
visiting or he's relocating?
I think he's visiting.
He's doing
I think he's
vagabond
doing
or-
the family like run around, if you will.
Ah, yes.
Yes, he says I still get you those chips. Maui chips. I ate like 20 bags. All I'm meant to send to you.
That's okay.
I feel that. Passion. Because you can't just eat one. Like, I am just eating simple tortilla chips right now, and
I was
they're
wondering what those were.
amazing. They're amazing. It's this one brand that we always get. It's called Juanitas.
Juanitas.
So good. But
Muy bien.
They're so good that you can even eat them like without salsa or guac or any of that. Like, you just
What you are? I don't see any sauce. Or
so good.
salsa.
So good.
Salsa. I don't know.
Yes. Okay. Salsa.
Because people like to say salsa.
Salsa. They like to say the salsa. Sometimes I like to bathe in the salsa
That's weird.
until I get tomato in my eye.
Or your
Then it stings or burns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all.
About a starfish. All right.
Well, this is Veterans Night because
Yes,
we're a
well,
little
yes.
late. At 8:30, it'd still be Veterans Night, but still, it's Veterans Day. I finally had a day off. I was working
man.
like 9 straight days, which is it's good at work, but my goodness, I was tired.
Tired. You working
Yeah.
14-hour days?
12 to 14, yeah.
Yeah, I do that usually once a month. Like, I'll have a Monday, Tuesday off, and then my next days off won't be until the following weekend. And yeah, it's not fun at
Yeah,
all.
I don't get
you kind
days.
you kind of lose track of your days.
I don't get days I don't get days back to back like that. But I also don't really get a real day off because
Oh my gosh!
she gets so mad at me when I say this. But any day I have off is usually her at work and I'm with the kids. So it's like I don't get that. She gets to have a couple of hours at least where the kids are at work or at school. All 3 of them are at school. So she gets, a moment. I had a taste of that yesterday, and it was very nice. So she always says, you don't have to work 12-hour days and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, but I also don't have to yeah. She gets it. She has her own little special treats, and I have mine. But it was nice yesterday having all the kids at school, and I was like, I went to Costco, and I just kind of like paced the aisles. Didn't have any real press for time. I went on like a little 5K run, and it was nice. I didn't have to like worry about a babysitter or anything.
Why are you going to hit him?
There's a mosquito.
Oh, okay. So
Did you get it?
I just witnessed an abuse
I'm used to it. Anyway.
There was a fly still
Is it a fly or a mosquito? Or what was it?
It was a fly. It was a fly, yeah.
She wasn't fast enough for the fly.
Yeah, it wasn't.
God,
But it still
did you
felt
get
good.
You're so mean to me. That's okay. I'm sure I deserved it.
At some point in time, huh?
You know.
Yes. Yeah. 5K run the next time I join you.
Hey.
Brother.
Yeah. I'm averaging. It's horrible. I've got a horrible time right now. But when I used to do my half marathon stuff, I could get a 5K done in about 24 minutes. And that's still, it's not the fastest, but it's decent for my age and abilities. But now I'm at about 30.
30 minutes?
30 minutes. Yeah, for 5K.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Right?
No, I tried to do the 1 mile before, and
you should do it with me. I do it all the time.
Yeah, and I threw up.
Oh boy!
As much fun as that sounds.
Yeah, running for fun.
I love to run. To me, it's great. Anytime we go on vacation, that's one of my favorite things to do. The first morning, I get up and I go for a jog, and I just run through the city that we're in. I don't even know if it's ghetto or not. I just just run through the city.
And there have been numerous times when he's gotten lost.
I did.
Like when he's gone like a little bit of ways and he's like, oh, I can keep going. Oh, what's this trail over here? And what's this? Oh, I bet you if I turn this way, I can get back to the road.
One time I ended up on an 8-mile run because I thought it was supposed to be like a 4-mile run. But
you just kept going?
Well, no. So I was following the nav on my phone, right? And it had this little trail. So I kind of mapped it out, right? I was trying to be responsible. So it looked like a running trail. So I started off, it was a running trail, and you go up on the main road, and then you come back around. And then the part I was at about like 3 3/4 miles, and then you just cut across, right?
Yeah.
Well, that cut across is like a hobo trail, but it's on Google Maps as a trail, but it's like a hobo trail. I start running up to it. I'm like, all right, here we go. And I see all of these like remnants of people living there. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. So I had to turn my happy butt around and go back another 3 3/4 miles.
Oh man, that's
it
funny.
was horrible. Yeah. So I came in, I don't even think I had the range to call, And when I finally was, I was like, yeah, honey, I'm going to be late. Just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy it. I think that's what I have to remember is the hardest part is actually getting out the front door because it's like in my mind, like mentally preparing for it, I'm like, no. I am not looking forward to the burn in the throat.
Even like the first
huffing and puffing, and then getting your stride finally, and then just being like, I can't go anymore. It's like there's a lot because I haven't ran in quite some time, and so it's like having to rebuild that stamina. It's like it's just such a mental block that I'm just like meh. Just sit here and eat some more chips, But it really, like, once you get out there, like, you really do enjoy it. You really do remember what your body can do and just how amazing, like, your body is.
It feels good. And the burn, even, like, right now, my legs feel all tender because I went on a 5K yesterday. And then Olivia and I went golfing.
And today?
Yeah. So, but we didn't do, like, a round of golf.
Right.
We just went and hit balls at the range. And that was fun. She's never done it before. She's always talked about wanting to play golf, but she's never hit anything. So I said, well, let's go hit some balls.
Driving range, yeah.
Yeah, so we went to the range, and I bought a big bucket, and, just to start whacking them. And I'm horrible. I haven't actually swung a club. Last time I went was with you.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? 5 years ago,
Was it
probably?
with my dad?
No, it was you and I just at the range.
And then, I went with my dad, and okay, I know who it was. It was with Austin, my nephew. So we went with my dad, and then Doug, my brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. And so we go, and this guy, like, we're doing, like, really bad, like, all of us. And then this guy who knows what he's doing, he tries to help us.
Oh, and how'd that work out?
He's there for, like, 15 minutes, and finally, like, he just gave up.
Were you guys on the range, or were you guys actually playing?
Oh, no, on the driving range.
Gotcha.
And he just was observing our terribleness.
Yeah. I was watching a couple of guys, And I was like, okay, I know I'm swinging at least better than this guy because I know the technique. Like you got to keep your front arm straight, you bend your back arm, you full swing. You got to go all the way. Basically, you got to touch shoulder to shoulder when you swing, right? Yeah. And but I know how to do it, but I don't actually do it the way I know how to. So I end up looking like somebody from like one of the Three Stooges
movie.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore?
I tried doing that. I tried doing the one-handed swing and nearly lost my club. Olivia's like, could you imagine, Dad, if all of a sudden people were like, wow, look at that ball. Nope, that's a club. I was like, yeah, that's funny.
I always slice it to the left or right.
Yeah. I tell you, when I did connect, okay, so I probably swung at about, 80 balls. And I made contact with maybe 20 of them. And the ones I did, they went pretty well. But I found out I can't use... I've got the different woods. I have a 1, a 3, and a 5. I don't even know what that means. But
but I've got them.
The 1, the shaft is too long. So it's like I'm throwing it off. And then when I was using the woods, I was actually doing not the woods, the irons. I was doing really wood with the irons. And then I got a hold of the pitching wedge, right? And that's got a really high degree on it. Oh my gosh, I was hitting that thing as hard as I can. It was going straight up, like almost landing in my lap again.
What is that? That might be for putt-putting, huh?
Oh, it's to get out of the sand or whatever.
Yeah.
But, so I would smack it and it would land like 30 yards, but it would go 30 yards high or 80 yards high or whatever. It just seemed like, it was pretty entertaining.
Well, that's a good veteran thing day to do.
Yeah, I don't know.
It makes sense.
It was still fun. It was fun. Bonding time with the kid.
Yeah, that's good. I haven't done that in a while. But so what did you do? Did you work, Karen?
No, we're getting ready for Hazel's birthday this weekend. So he took one of the girls and I took the other two, and we just ran around town trying to get up birthday stuff. And
went to the Hobby of the Lobby.
Oh, mercy, Hobby Lobby.
That is crack.
That's a trap.
That is some crack. It's funny to watch the people that go into that place because it's either old grandmas or married women who are married to doctors or something.
With trucker hats.
With the the blinged out trucker hats. Yeah. So there's this one little blonde girl, and she's, I don't know, maybe 30, 35, and she's walking with these girls, and they all look like clones of each other, and she goes, girls, what do you think about this? We'll take this little tree, we'll put it up in the second story in the open area there when you first walk up the stairs, and you guys can decorate it. We'll get all the decorations right now. And I'm just like, I hope my kids don't hear that because unless we're putting them on the roof, we're not getting that experience.
There's no second tree in our little 1,400 square foot house.
There's no second tree. There's no first tree. Usually, that for the longest time, I wanted to get one of those. You know how you can get like the
door hanger.
The door hanger where it looks like it's a present or whatever. They used to have them where it looked like it was a Christmas tree. And I was just going to tack that on the wall. Go for it. But Karen's like, that's a little tacky. And I said, well...
usually a tack, so it's okay.
I know.
See, and before we had kids, up until probably their second Christmas time, because the first Christmas we were like, they're 3 months, they don't know the difference, but probably for the first 7 years of our marriage, the only tree we had was one of those multicolored spiral ones that you would normally put in your front yard. The plastic ones with all the spiral with the star at the top. I loved that.
Yeah,
I loved it. That was my idea.
So you could still hang ornaments on it because it had the little.
We never did, but we never did. But
I think we did a couple of times.
We didn't.
No. Okay.
No.
I'm a liar.
But so then we had to kind of do away with that tradition once the girls were old enough to kind of understand and want to have an actual tree. So we're like, oh, okay. So
you're saying that this lady at Hobby Lobby was already getting a Christmas tree?
Oh my gosh, everything at
Christmas right now is half off.
Oh
yeah. Oh, I've got a friend.
Can we have Thanksgiving first?
I have a friend who puts up Christmas the day after Halloween.
Oh my!
I'm not going to say her name, Melissa.
You just did.
Oh, it's Marissa. Actually, it's not Melissa. It's Marissa.
Well.
Yeah. Anyways,
Don't worry, she's not listening.
She doesn't listen to this. She would never listen to this. That's why I don't know.
Never say never.
Well, see, now we're a day after Thanksgiving family. Like, it's actually kind of become tradition, and luckily this year I have the day after Thanksgiving.
So that would be
off.
Black Friday.
Yeah. See, but we're not really Black Friday people, and I really feel like the internet and just all of the online shopping.
Well,
is
now
kinda
there's 4 Black Fridays,
really,
right?
yeah,
Is
put
there?
away with Black Friday. Really,
I think it's just a horrible thing. Why can't it just be Friday?
Yes.
why it got to be black.
Why got to be black?
It's a racist day.
Such a racist day.
But yeah, so we're definitely a day after Thanksgiving family, and so that's kind of just been our tradition. But we're struggling this year because we don't know if we want to just continue to use our 100-year-old fake tree. And by 100, I mean 10-year-old fake tree.
It's so old. It's so old that it's shedding like a real Christmas tree.
so we've got this old Christmas tree. I mean, I think it's fine. Every year we put it up, and
You
we're
think
like,
everything is fine.
Every
You
year
just
we
don't
put
like
it up,
change.
and I'm just like, no, it's got another year.
I'm going to be dead for 15 years, and she's going to keep me in the room and be like, he's fine. He's all right.
fine. Yeah, I'm just going to taxidermy you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're trying to figure out if we want to go real this year because the girls have yet to have a real tree, and so that's the internal battle.
We can't do real because of allergies.
Yeah, not this house.
So we got a fake one.
We ain't got no well, I don't know. Hazel.
I know we
blow
might
some
end
serious.
up finding out that we have that allergy.
Yeah.
But yeah, our little one she's probably had more allergies than.
And when she
we've
sneezes, so it's
had.
always we are always just. Okay, girls, how bad is it? Because she sneezes out of her nose. Like some of us sneeze out of our mouth. She sneezes out of her nose. She goes, ha, like this. And it's usually loaded.
Yeah, we always have to,
Oh my
anytime
gosh,
she's in the
man.
car, we're always like,
Dude, and I'm like,
boogies. And the girls are like, yep.
but I'm telling you, it's like Slimer. It's like, it's like, how does a nose that small contain so much crud?
Oh.
It's disgusting.
It's the valley.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I was going to ask you guys, do you know anybody that is a veteran?
Yes.
That maybe you're related to or that you're good friends with?
Uh-huh. Somebody who's just served in the military.
I know your dad was, right?
My dad, yeah. Mm-hmm. Robert.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
My nephew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's also, there's a few people, like people
Your
at our
cousin.
church.
He's not a veteran. He's still serving.
He's still serving, but he's...
Is that a thing? Like, you're only a veteran if you're not?
Yeah, because otherwise you're active military.
Right, okay.
But
do we still celebrate them,
yeah, sure,
right?
I guess.
So then wouldn't
He's
it
a
be...
recruiter.
Aren't you a veteran of... Yeah, are you a veteran do you have to be a veteran, like, of a war or just an armed service?
Oh, no.
He's an armed...
It doesn't matter if you were on the field in the battle or just doing duties.
Duties, if you will.
Doing the duties, yes. You're a veteran is a veteran.
That's right.
But although there is kind of like a angst between the two, between the people who were boots on the ground versus people who were just, serving.
I think it's because those who have been in the war... Who
had to be deployed,
yeah, and it kind of stems from that. Her thoughts on that stems from there's a guy at our church who was a sharpshooter in Vietnam.
Cool.
And he was deployed, and my dad served during Vietnam, but he was never deployed. And so the guy, during my dad's funeral, mind you, he found out that my dad was not actually deployed on and did not step foot on Vietnam, like anywhere near there. And he's like, he can't have that title of a Vietnam vet. Only those who have actually fought in the war can make that claim. I was like,
that's hogwash. Yeah.
He fed your belly while you were, because he was a cook. So he's like, he fed your belly while you were here in the States. So,
he did a duty.
He did his job. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where I was like, wow, he's dead. And just recently, and still in that box over there, if you'd like to go let him know that he's not allowed to have that claim. It was like such an inappropriate time, but this person in particular is kind of known for that. But
for being a little crass.
Yeah, so, and it's like, oh my gosh. But I never really thought about that. Like I do have a friend whose husband was serving in the Army, and recently he ended up getting deployed while his right before his son was born, and he was originally supposed to be deployed, and he had a kind of a medical emergency, so he wasn't able to be deployed. But his best friend did get deployed. And so when the best friend came back, like there was a lot of angst between basically
But didn't he end up going out after all?
He did end up going. He ended up getting deployed anyway.
Yeah.
Like later on, but it was just one of those things where it's like the friend was just so upset, like that
because they went in together. He thought they were going to serve together.
Yeah, like I don't know if they thought that they ditched him or I don't know, but it was just weird. So I mean, military, God bless everyone who serves and protects us, and like there's freedom isn't free, just like it is said. But you know, I think there's a lot more to it than just what us civilians know. You know,
Oh yeah,
so
way more to it. You know,
yeah.
And my dad was a chaplain, for the Air Force, and so. You know, it's
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He dresses up, huh?
Yeah.
I've seen him in his uniform. That's right.
And it was great. And I wanted to go on the trips with him, but I never got to. But because he only wouldn't go like maybe once a month or once every 2 months, whenever they needed him. But he didn't go like fly a plane or anything. But he went and preached, and he helped out any way they wanted him to.
Yeah.
So it was cool. But so I was proud of my dad for being a chaplain. For the Air Force, even though I was a little boy, I didn't really know what was going on, but I knew enough to know I was proud of him. You know, I was like, wow, that's cool, Dad. So, anyway, to all those veterans, we have a question here. Michael Basham says, does Let's Get Jacked Up have TikTok? Well, no, we do not presently have a TikTok.
I believe that TikTok is from the devil.
Well, it's definitely from China.
Yes. Do you remember that whole controversy? I don't even know if that was. I don't know if it was just a Trump thing or what. But you know, China was like, if you read the fine print, at some point they're like, yeah. So if you agree to our terms, that means that we get to have intellectual property as ownership, like everything that our app has access to belongs to us.
Which I mean. Formulate a sentence. It is. People will get into that binding contract so flippantly
because they don't check, they don't read it. They're just like, yeah, I agree.
They really don't. But at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, but isn't that kind of to be expected? I mean, when you put things out there in the world, anyone can have access to them. It's just, I mean, when you put something on the internet, you have no control over like who has that. Well, I mean, most times you have no control over who has access to it and how they use it and how whatever. And yeah, you can bunny trail after every single hit or whatever, and then maybe try to, track them down and sue them or, whatever and stuff. But yeah, exactly. It's just gotten to the point where it's kind of like anything goes. And, for people to try to sue over some of these things is just kind of like, well, you put it out there. Like, I don't know.
But it's the same thing as the lady who put the hot coffee in her lap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, the same thing as like
a bunch of idiots.
We have this big dispute over for the longest time we were not able to give out ketchup in a cup out of the drive window. Take a wild guess as to why.
People would spill it.
And
wait.
Sue.
Oh, in a cup.
Yeah, ketchup in it, like in a little, the little souffle cups that they have, like in the dining room. Customers would ask for us to give that to them, and for the longest time, we couldn't give them out because people would sue or like say, this ketchup spilled in my car. Now you need to pay for the detail on my car, and you need to, blah blah blah. Yes. And it's just kind of like. So it got to the point where, like, because customers can be super adamant about stuff like that. And it got to the point where I would say, do you solemnly swear that if this spills in your car, you're not going to sue In-N-Out Burger? And they were just like, what? I'm like, okay, here, give me ketchup packets in a cup. It's all you now,
Yeah, and that's the safe way to go. Yeah. Just give them the closed package with the option.
You go, here, sign this waiver, will you?
Yeah, I know, exactly. Gosh.
Crazy
but those
world.
are the same thing that like people who I don't know. People will find a reason to just to try to get something for nothing.
I don't know if this is going to be Poke the Panda, or if we'll talk about this later, maybe your news or something. But I know, right? But I am this whole what's it like, Astro World or whatever? That have you heard about this? Oh gosh, yeah. Travis Scott.
Yeah.
Travis
about
Scott,
his,
how he had the big concert and people ended up getting trampled,
and the 13-year-old died and all that,
and all of these things, and like literally the next day, people are suing. People are already, and I'm just like,
but why? Because they were trampling?
First of all, I saw this really funny meme, and it's like, any heavy metal mosh pitter knows that if somebody falls down, you pick them up. Like, you don't let them get trampled on, right? Uh-huh. So these seasoned veterans, mosh pit, like people that have got like, you know, either the tattooed head and just like the total like heavy metal guys, they're just like, yeah, you got to support each other. You want to get in there and beat the crap out of each other, but you don't want anybody to get hurt.
I mean, my biggest thing was just kind of like, I feel...
And they're not even following the COVID protocol, okay?
No, right.
Well, but I feel like there's got to be some sort of TikTok stipulation, like just how when you sign up for TikTok, you're saying all your intellectual, everything, basically everything on this app is going to be under our control, and you sign it away. I would almost assume that there's some sort of fine print or something when you purchase your ticket that says, we're not responsible for bodily harm or any of these things that might happen to you. You're saying
it's like when you leave your car in a parking lot?
Yeah.
And it says that anything stolen is not our responsibility?
Yeah, I don't know. And they're just automatically... Like, don't get me wrong. I understand both sides of the argument. I really do. I understand that he gave 0 Fs about what was going on in the audience and just kept going.
Well, but the thing is, he's up on stage. He's a performer. It's not his job to be concerned about what's going up on. I know. And then this is kind of like how we were talking about earlier, where it's how it shows a pattern. Like, there have been other times at other performances where he has said, like, don't listen to them, like the security or whatever, like, do what you want to do, or whatever. And so. So I mean, it's just a mess, but at the same time, it was just kind of like I think it's awful that this happened. I also think that it's occupational. It's just one of those. You run the risk. If you're going to be down in a standing room only, there's a chance you're going to get squashed. It's like when you go to when you watch those like aid fests or whatever they are, like where they're like. There's literally like hundreds of thousands of people, and they're literally the only place they can go to move is that like 2x2 little square that they have.
I can remember. Do you remember? I think it was System of a Down. When we went to System of a Down, and we were up front, and it was Queens of the Stone Age had just started, and you and I were up there and stuff, and I remember you feeling super protective over me. It got to the point where it's like people were rushing the stage so much that my feet were literally not on the ground, but I was being moved.
Oh, I was ready to Hulk out.
And he was like ready to just like kill everyone around.
Dude, you know how I get, man. We ended up going up on the balcony. So finally,
we just decided to kind of work our way out of it and just kind of watch from the side.
And it was a much better show that way.
And it was fine, but it was one of those things where it's like, it's again, unfortunate that this all happened so quickly in a matter of minutes and whatnot. But I saw this one meme where it's just like, well, obviously all we needed was Selena to sing Como La Flor, and it would have been fine,
But again, I think that it kind of likens to the condition of the mind right now, right?
Yeah, I do feel like it's indicative of.
Yeah, I mean, look at the mob mentality where it's like, look what's going on out in the streets in Seattle and all these other places where there's a sense of freedom when you're amongst a large group of people where it's like the rules don't apply to you.
Well, I think really what it boils down to, in my opinion, is, where does the personal responsibility lie?
It's gone in the mob mentality.
Where is it that people take personal responsibility for things? Instead of, I saw this this video of this woman, this guy and this woman who wanted cigarettes, and the people wouldn't sell them because they were closing up or something like that. I don't even remember what it was because I didn't have the sound on. But like basically, she forced her way in and was like pushing the clerk and like swung at the clerk. And she's a female, and the male clerk swung back at her and was telling her she needed to go, and she wouldn't stop. And he defended himself and was swinging on her. And then one of the other clerks came and ended up swinging on her too. And it was one of those things where it's like, okay, but she will end up taking them to court because bodily harm and, all these. And so it's just kind of like, do we only decide to take personal responsibility when we have been harmed?
Yes, of course. No, that's
like,
absolutely true.
And it's just
look at
like,
what's going on right now with the Rittenhouse or whatever it is case, right? Where it's like there's no responsibility unless it's the person who you feel has done wrong.
I'm
only bringing that up for that spot.
I know. In a lot of these cases, it almost comes to the point where it's like an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. You know what I mean? Like there really is no. There's too, in that case in particular, at least in my opinion, there's just too many factors, and there's too many. I don't know that he's completely innocent, and I don't know that those other people are completely guilty, and vice versa.
Well, what was my stand? What was my stand on it? Neither one of them should have been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
My big thing is that they were both equally wrong.
But again, personal responsibility.
Yeah, but
like no one wants to take personal responsibility because the people who got shot, again, like will not take personal responsibility for their action because they have been hurt.
Yeah, and they want the sympathies that come with it. It's tough because even in just day-to-day life, I'm my 4-year-old. She does something wrong. The first thing she says. She comes in with makeup on, and she goes, Mom helped me put my makeup on. She looks like a flippin' clown. I know Mom didn't help her do it, right? But it's the idea that she did it. She knew that if she told me the truth, she would be disciplined. So she just approached me and said, I'm going to say that Mom did it, right? Because of the personal responsibility. She's trying to side skirt the possibility of getting in trouble. And that's what's happening right now, except that instead of it being a 4-year-old, it's grown adults who are acting like 4-year-olds.
But back to my original story, where does the responsibility lie in the Travis Scott situation in that Astro World situation?
Personally for me, I would say that for the child situation, that's the parents' fault.
Yeah. I could not believe there were 2 or 3 that were minors.
Do you know why though? Because Travis Scott, even though he was a deplorable human being when it comes to his lyrics and the things that he says, he's a skin on Fortnite.
Okay.
So he's done a digital or like a virtual concert on Fortnite, and so all of these kids are like idolizing him, not realizing that he's not one to be worshipped. He's not a virtuous person in any sense of the phrase, but most people don't know better.
Yeah, I don't. You know who it is? Travis Scott.
Do you know who Kylie Jenner is?
Yeah.
It's her baby daddy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Weird. And he's a singer now or a rapper or what?
He's always been a rapper.
Oh. I don't think he's ever been any good. He's just he's been able to.
Well, you can't really say that. You're not really.
I'm not into
that
the
genre.
rap.
So
I've always thought
we can't say one way or another.
I can't say. When I was a kid, I used to like rap, but now I think I realize now that it's been misspelled this whole time.
Well, I'm obviously too old, I guess. I don't know.
Clearly.
Travis Scott. Whatever.
Look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Well, there we go. We're going to take a break, and we come back. We're going to talk about some Bible battles, at least one in particular, one of my favorites.
Okay.
Coming up after the break, so don't go away. Michael Basham, I see you. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight.
Peekaboo.
I know it's probably late for you, too.
Why are you talking?
I don't know.
All right.
This is Let's Get Jacked Up. We'll be right back after these messages on Fringe Radio Network.
We celebrate Veterans Day on the anniversary of of the armistice that ended World War I. The armistice that began on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The timing of this holiday is quite deliberate in terms of historical fact. But somehow it always seems quite fitting to me that this day comes deep in autumn, when the colors are muted and the days seem to invite contemplation. It is, in a way, an odd thing to honor those who died in defense of our country, in defense of us, in wars far away. The imagination plays a trick. We see these soldiers in our mind as old and wise, but most of them were boys when they died, and they gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one they would have lived. When they died, they gave up their chance to be husbands and fathers and grandfathers. They gave up their chance to be revered old men. They gave up everything for our country, for us. And all we can do is remember. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. In memory of those who gave the last full measure of devotion, may our efforts to achieve lasting peace gain strength. Let us make a vow to our dead. Let us show them by our actions that we understand what they died for. Strengthened by their courage, heartened by their value, and borne by their memory, let us continue to stand for the ideals for which they lived and died.
Remember to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Let's Get Jacked Up. Check out our website at letsgetjackedup.com. Listen and download our episodes from our website, the Spreaker app, and of course at fringeradionetwork.com.
Make sure to follow Fringe Radio Network on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, and many other ways to find Fringe Radio Network. Stay up to date on all your favorite shows on Fringe Radio Network. Listen to Let's Get Jacked Up live every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Time on FringeRadioNetwork.com and on FringePanda.com. Tell your friends.
It's 9:30 at night and our garage door won't come down. Yes, I know, first world problems. I've tried everything I know, but no success, not even progress. I'm reading online articles, my wife is watching YouTube videos, but again, no success. So we turn to our own standby, we call my father-in-law, and if he can't fix it, no one can. But with a remote connection, he's puzzled and unsure. I began to prepare myself mentally to spend the night in the open garage. Hi, this is Chips Ross, and I serve Jesus as pastor of Westwood Baptist Church in Fresno, California. I'm in the house to get paperwork on the garage door when I hear the noise. That sounds like the garage door, and it was. My wife, with the help of a screwdriver and a ladder, had fixed the problem, which is pretty normal in our house. It's a bit deflating to my pride, but I'm used to this. Way back in Genesis, at the very start of creation, God first made the man Adam. He was created in the image of God and given the responsibility to steward creation. Perfect man, perfect creation, it should work out, right? Except God reveals something to Adam and to us. I will make you a suitable helper. I've been pondering that significant fact for a few weeks. Even a perfect man needs help. That's not a design flaw by God. No matter how much I might grow and improve, I am intended by God to need help, particularly from my wife. But it also extends to others. I need my family. I need my church. I need my friends. I need God's help. God has given to you a responsibility just as He has to every person He has made. The primary responsibility is to have a relationship with Him, but there are others like with your family, your home, your job. But in that responsibility, He has also given you help. The responsibility is yours, but you can't do it alone. Look for and lean on the help God has already given to you. Even a perfect man needs help.
FringeRadioNetwork.com has great shows like Sarah Westall, who is not afraid to have doctors on who put their career and even life on the line to tell the data they have found out about the shot.
And then finally to realize that making a vaccine that was going to kill older people especially and vulnerable people was planned.
Check out Canary Cry News Talk with Basil and Gons. Listen to Spirit Wars with Michael Basham and go to his new website at faithbucks.com. The Fringe Radio Network also has a do-it-yourself home improvement show called Home Improvement Talk Show with Jack and Tim. Yeah, the same Jack and Tim that's also on Let's Get Jacked Up. Check out other shows like Nuclear Knucklehead, Iron Show with Johnny McMahon, and so much more. All right here on FringeRadioNetwork.com.
Welcome back to the show. This is Let's Get Jacked Up on Fringe Radio Network.
On this Veterans Day, I'd like to pay tribute to all of those incredible people, and you are indeed incredible people, who serve so well and so strong and so powerfully in the United States Armed Forces. We love you, our nation respects you, the world respects you, and we will come back. Our country has gone through a lot. The last period of time has been very, very tough, watching what you had to watch. But our country will be back, and will be back stronger than ever. Happy Veterans Day.
Mukbang.
It doesn't seem stale to me. Wow, I'm loud. Doesn't seem stale to me.
Welcome back to Let's Get Jacked Up.
I got.
Well, why are y'all listening to President Trump there, Karen
Former
and Bobby?
president.
No, he's president. Chomping on the popcorn.
This is so stale.
It's not stale. It's just coated with stuff that gets stuck in your teeth.
Uh-huh.
Just saying.
Man, Michael, you've been busy. I know. I've been listening to Michael Basham's Spirit Wars when I was working in those days, and so he's got.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I got my phone too close.
You're causing lots of feedback.
Yeah. My feet are back up. Anyway,
it says still to do's it. It's mine actually.
Is it?
Yep.
I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Glory. So anyway, Michael Basham is Spirit Wars, a great show. You know what I like about that show is he mixes the Bible with current news, and then he'll go back to the Bible and then say some more news. I like it, Michael. You've been doing a great job, and then you have guests on, but when you don't have guests on, it's still really good.
Well, so, yeah, because he's a good. He's a good. He's a good broadcaster guy.
Yes, he is.
I'm not like with us. So I could not do a show without a partner because I would just do this already. That's what I would do a lot of.
Just.
I'm going to eat it. That was my favorite part.
Oh my gosh!
My question. So, Michael. And you could just connect with us whenever. But are you? Have you relocated from Hawaii, or are you just visiting?
No, Tim asked that earlier. He said he was just visiting.
Oh,
well, he didn't say this on here. I just hear him on the shows, and that's what he says.
Oh, okay.
That he's doing the family around.
Yeah. Okay.
He says you guys could do a better job. What is this? Come on, you guys! You could do a way better job than me. No way.
Nope.
Come on. Thank you. That's
Karen
great.
says, "Yeah, I can."
I could. Yeah.
Of course you could.
I could.
See, she says that about everything.
You could,
no, not better, just as good. How about that?
Oh my gosh!
But see, Karen has a lot of drama classes.
No, Karen just talks a lot. So
He says he has 1 foot in Hawaii.
He's a quadruped.
1 foot in Cali. He's a what'd you say?
Quadruped.
Broken plate.
Shut up. He's quadruped. Anyway, so let's
awesome,
get back
Michael.
onto it. So what's your favorite war of the Bible?
I want to ask you guys first if you have any ones that pop in your head.
The War of Good and Evil.
Oh, mercy. What is this, Jeopardy?
No. I really don't know. I don't think about the wars of the Bible, though. Seriously? Apparently, we just don't care.
What?
As you pop another piece of popcorn in your mouth. But
everyone's going to have to listen to my mukbang. I am forced to listen
my
to...
butt bang.
No, mukbang. Not butt bang.
Butt bang.
That sounds horrible.
What?
Oh, man.
No butt bang at the counter.
Radio edit.
Ricky. Anyway.
Michael,
where's your sound effects?
Michael,
Tim?
come save us.
Where's your sound effects?
Anyway, so what is your favorite war of the Bible?
One of my favorites is Jericho.
Of course.
What do you mean, of course?
Typical.
Is it typical?
Typical.
All right.
Why? What makes it typical?
Yeah, what makes that typical? If you know the story, which I know you do, but for those that may not out there,
go ahead. It's your story.
No, I want to know what's typical about it.
Tell the story.
It's one of the bigger of the battles. Like there's only so many. I mean, it's very Old Testament. You know, like New Testament. Can you think of any other battle? Like, are there battles in the New Testament besides like persecution? But that's not really battle. You know. So.
All right. Good point.
I feel like most of the army and strategic and
I like the battle between.
You hear the history; it's all Old Testament. Like New Testament, you're going to hear more of like the future, the angel armies.
But that's because the progress of the Bible goes from war to peace.
Mic drop.
Yeah, it's actually just Tim with a mustache full of whipped cream.
I'm glad we're not on video.
I went a little bit over. I overdid. So during the commercial break, I got some coffee for my dear friend here, and I almost used half a container of whipped cream on his coffee because he likes it that way. And
although he's never said ever that he likes it that way, but
I just know what he likes. Okay.
He's right. I do like whipped cream, but not on my mustache. Anyways, yes, Joshua and the Jericho walls come tumbling down, and the way they came tumbling down is very unique and very unbattle-like, but God said to do it this way.
Okay.
And so that's what we're going to hear right now.
It's going to be Joshua and the Battle of Jericho. So part of God's story is about a guy named Joshua, and it goes like this. 40 years after God led his family out of Egypt and through the desert, he chose Joshua to lead them to an amazing home he had promised them called Canaan. Now, Canaan wasn't their home yet. Not really. See, people lived there already, in a big city called Jericho.
From a video.
They had heard how God parted the Red Sea and rained down food from heaven for his family. They had heard how God had led his family with a cloud during the day and a pillar of fire at night.
Is there a dragon?
And they realized that if God wanted his family to move into Canaan, he would do something remarkable to get them there.
You're still on.
So they were ready for an epic fight.
Trying to figure out what's going on.
In the past, that had really scared God's family. But here's the thing. God knew Jericho looked scary for his family. So when it was time to go, he reminded Joshua that he was in control. God said, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Joshua might have felt afraid, but he chose to be strong and courageous. For a while, God's family camped out, waiting to go in, wondering how to get through Jericho's walls. Then one night, Joshua looked up and saw a man standing in front of him. He was holding a sword and looked ready for battle, but Joshua didn't recognize him. He asked, "Are you on our side or our enemy's side?" The man said, "Neither. I'm on the Lord's side."
Oh.
At that moment, Joshua realized that it was God appearing as a soldier. He fell on his face and worshipped him. God was definitely with them and would lead the Israelites into Jericho. Well, after that, God told Joshua how to get through Jericho's walls. Here's what he told Joshua to do. March around the city once every day for 6 days. have 7 priests get trumpets made out of ram's horns and carry them. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times. The priests should blow the trumpets during the march. When they blow a long blast, all the men should shout. Then the walls will fall. Joshua might have wondered how walking and yelling would make walls fall, but he didn't question God. He trusted God, so he obeyed. And guess what? At the last trumpet blast, the walls fell, just like God said they would. God promised not to leave his family, and he didn't. He helped them get through an impossible wall and move into their new and beautiful home. And through Joshua, God would continue to help his family. In fact, Joshua finally became so sure of God's power that he was able to help others to be strong and courageous, just like God had helped him. And that's the story of Joshua.
There you go.
Yeah.
Story of Joshua. The sound effects was quite interesting. There was dragons and breaking buses.
What is?
So that was from God's Story on YouTube. You can check that out. I think is very good. What you were hearing,
I bet
though,
you the video was good.
Yes,
the audio was kind of
okay.
rough.
So what you were hearing was they were penciling, like somebody was drawing the character from a pencil.
Oh,
yeah. So
okay.
you were hearing the
now
pencil.
It makes total sense.
But then the horns, you were hearing horns that sounded like a bus.
Sound like a bus with air brakes.
I thought it was a sea monster. Because you could hear the waves. And
Anyway.
God's Story. And you could find that whole story in Joshua 6. Chapter 6. And what really stood out to me, though, was... the fact that they obeyed God.
Yes.
And then they did it. And they
didn't question it, even though they didn't fully understand it. And,
yeah.
And that's the struggle that we have as people, is that we want to do what we want to do. And when we are forced or when we are led to do something that we don't know what to do or don't know how to do or terrified of the outcome even, we're very quick to kind of resort back to our own ways. They're just like the Jews did in the Old Testament.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about how many times did God have to bail them out or punish them?
Right.
Yeah, it seems like every book.
Well, I mean, the same thing with us. We get used to something, and then we go back to some of our old ways. Not all of them, but some of our old ways. We get nonchalant about it, and then God's got to steer us back because He loves us. And I'm glad for that.
It always reminds me of, I picture God's way versus our own way. Okay, we have a friend who lives not too far from here, and the girls and I were riding our bikes, and we stumbled upon their house, right? And she happened to be out there, and I know the mom, but she has a daughter that the girls go to school with, right? So every time we went to their house thereafter, I took that route, right? And so it's like this kind of jagged, back and forth, kind of swooshing around, and you end up right here, right? No one else can see, but you could see. Right, and for literally 2 years, that's the way I always went, right? And then I finally was like, you know what, Karen, she'd never been there, so I was like, well, let me type in the nav, and I'll show you where it's at. And the nav told me that I didn't have to go all the way like this. I literally had to go 2 lefts and a right, and I'm there. All right, so it was like
shortcut.
It was like the shortcut. But that, to me, I think that's like God's way, right? God will give us the direct path if we choose to follow Him. But so many times we just follow what we know works, and it's always the longer, the more complicated, the more,
Yeah. And just think about it. When Joshua was. So, hey, you have these people go around this wall, how many times, and then blowing the horn. And they're like, wait a minute, where's our weapons? But they didn't really question it, did they? They just went about it, and look what happened. And the walls came tumbling down on the 7th day.
Yeah.
Well, I think, too, you got to think about the people that were inside of Jericho. Like, what are those people thinking?
Like, yeah, what are these
They're
idiots
panicked,
doing?
I'm sure, because either that or they think you're all a bunch of crazy lunatics.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, and the walls of the city, they were impenetrable. They always felt like there was so much safety and security in these walls, and I think that was part of what the Lord was trying to do, was to show that you can, some put faith in chariots and others in men, but we'll put our faith in the Lord, type of thing. And so
it's like that scene in Lord of the Rings, the impenetrable stronghold.
Helm's Deep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Helm's Deep.
Yeah, but
they found a weakness.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's just like there's, we tend to find safety in so many things that are,
except for God,
that are, that have proven to make us feel safe. We feel safe when we have money. We feel safe when we have our health. We feel safe when our kids are doing well in school. We feel safe when our parents are doing well, and then when those things are shaken or when those walls start crumbling down, like it's, where's our faith? Where's our faith?
Yeah.
And it's a reminder that we've put our faith in something that can be taken away.
Well, it's funny because Olivia and I had that conversation today because we were on our way to the driving range, and she says, Dad, is it bad that sometimes I question about God? I'm like, well, what do you mean, honey? It's like, sometimes I just don't think he's real. I said, well, that's kind of a normal thing. And I was like, well, what makes you think that? And she was saying how she had a couple of bad times, and she was hoping that God would help her through it, but he didn't. And I said, well, let me ask you this. Tell me, what's the name of one of your friends at school? And so she gives me a name. I said, well, how do you know that this person is your friend? And she says, well, we first met each other, and then, we started talking to each other, and then we sit next to each other at lunchtime or whatever. And I said, okay, so you think that you're friends with her because you talk to her and she talks to you and you guys have this time together, right? I was like, when was the last time you had that time with God?
Ooh.
And she was like, well, and I said, not before you eat, like when was like actual quality time? And she's like, it's been a long time. I was like, yeah. And that's our fault, right? Because we need to be instilling that in them to do it more often. But, and that's the reality of it, right? I mean, the reason why we have all these fears of falling back into other things is because those are our go-to, because those are what...
safety nets, if you will.
Those are what we do, right? We don't do God anymore. How many Christians do you know actually do God? Like, as their faith, as their security, as their go-to?
Mm-hmm.
Not very many. There's a lot of them that rely on their other Christian friends. They rely on, the money and the house and the whatever it is, the things of this world, And it's funny because I find myself, when I hear about those Christians that I aspire to be, if I'm not in the mood to listen to it, I just think, you're so full of yourself. You know what I mean? Like you and your, but I mean, it's the truth. It's
you and your relationship with God.
Yeah. Like you, yeah.
Let's take that somewhere
there's
else.
Certain people and off air, I'll tell you, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, where it's like, you depend so much on God that it almost seems like a scapegoat, right? Like I'm not moving until God tells me to move.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm like, for me, I think, at what point does God give you, has God given you all the tools to start making that decision on your own? But their answer is, God knows where I'm at, when I'm at, and when God is, I'll know when it's time for me to start making those decisions on my own.
Yeah.
And I say, okay. And again, that's where my doubt comes in, and how fair is that?
Right.
My doubt is I'm making my judgment about their relationship with God based off of my doubt. That's so unfair.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so true. And it just comes back to like listening to God and what we're going to go through here in the future, near future, and it's going to affect all of us at one point or another. And what are we going to do? Are we going to give in to the world system? Or are we going to say, okay, God, what's the next step? But like you said, you kind of have to have that relationship already with God to hear him.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the difficulty, is that if you can't hear God now, when are you going to hear God? You're not going to hear God when he's calling you, because, I feel like the closer we get to the end time,
yes,
the quieter God will actually be. Because the whispers are going to be those who are already in tune with him.
Interesting.
And he's not going to be screaming and yelling, because he's been doing that this whole time, right? He's been proclaiming his truth through his followers and through just the glorious of the world. I mean, you look around you and you see God everywhere, right? But I think there's going to be a time when, it's no longer going to be this loud proclamation of who he is as Father. It's going to be that
I kind of already
gentle whisper. You know,
I think it's already shifted towards that way.
I would agree
in a way, because you see it all around you. What do you see? You see more evil now.
I was watching. I was listening to the radio, and it was one of those, preachers on the radio, and his sermon was about how Christians today, especially the New Age Christians, the ones that are like really big into like the Bethel Church and all that stuff, they believe that Christ is a way to heaven, not the way to heaven.
That's a big difference.
Yeah. But it's because, again, they're blending these different cultures together. Was it the Corinthians or the Galatians? One of the two, where they were mixing in pagan ideology. Why can't I think of what it's called?
Ideology?
There you go.
Yeah.
With other things,
right?
And with our faith, and what ends up happening? They start diluting their faith, right? They start losing themselves.
Exactly. So, I want to say what's up to Christy Johnson joining us.
Howdy, howdy.
How do you doing, Christy Johnson?
Wow.
Thank you for listening.
We have people listening to us. I like it.
Maybe it's good we started later a little bit today, but
that's all right.
It's a Veterans Night, and we are live, and it's always good to be live. Sometimes I've been working. It's pretty much because of me. Okay, I've been working either late or out of town or whatever.
You're such a bad boy,
and it's just we rarely have live shows anymore, and I'm sorry about that. But
that's okay.
When work slows down, then we can have
just
more.
Makes us live a special treat. So drink it up, yo.
That's right. Welcome aboard. We're talking about Joshua and Jericho, and the walls come tumbling down, and the interesting ways that happened, and they're listening to God. They obeyed God, and guess what? The walls came down, and the city was theirs.
That's right. Yes.
It's like a game where the gladiators, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, that wasn't frightening at all.
No.
Yeah. I didn't realize your mouth opened up that big, man.
Good thing we're not on video.
Gravy. So it's interesting. Again, the idea of trusting God. It seems so simple. As Christians, we should be doing it. Right?
But also, in Jericho, or in the Bible, when the manna came down, that was their food, and God provided the food. And I'm thinking of, when the last days are here, and the Christians are still here.
Yeah.
Or we don't have our jobs, or we don't have money coming in. How are we going to live? Well, what's going to happen? Well, are we going to be like, okay, I bend my knee to whatever they want me to do? Or we're going to believe in God and trust God and say, okay, Lord, we need food. Please provide it.
What does God say about that? What does he say about the birds and in the sky and the flowers on the ground?
He will provide.
Yeah.
He will provide. He did for them, and he will for us when that happens, and it could be any time. So.
No, the difficulty in that is that he will supply our needs, not our wants.
Yes, and so right.
It could be manna. I mean, it literally could be the bare minimum for us to survive, but we need to be okay with that.
That's right. Christy, happy Veterans Night. I wonder how you spent your Veterans Day.
She told us.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah, she said that she spent the morning serving veterans meals at a restaurant, and that it felt very humbling.
Oh, awesome. Wow.
Yeah, that's nuts. My dad was a veteran, and toward the end of his life, he was always very active in his post-military life with the military. He would always do the Veterans Day parades. He was an avid Harley trike rider. And so he would always take his trike and deck it out with his Army garb and go and do the parades and stuff. It was a lot of fun.
For those that don't know what a trike is like me, go ahead and explain what that is if you won't mind.
What is a trike? It's a tricycle.
Oh, tricycle.
But it's a motorcycle with a third wheel. So it's like one wheel in the front, two wheels in the back.
Oh, okay.
But it's it's a Harley motorcycle.
Nice.
He got to the point where he couldn't keep the bike up on his own. So, yeah. And it took a little while for him to get used to driving it because you can't lean into the turns.
Oh,
you have to steer it kind of,
Yeah.
And that takes a little bit of getting
Muscle,
used to.
yeah.
Not muscle, but you've ridden a bike?
Yes.
Have you ever ridden a trike? Or ridden a bike that had more... have you ever ridden a
tricycle?
Yeah. Sorry, there's Karen's in the background. She's got the water running, and it's very loud. But anyways, yeah, we so he took a lot of joy in doing that, and he was a very active guy, so he would always help out those guys who weren't as active,
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So Christy Johnson is joining us now, and so thank you for joining us. Karen's back. She had to do a little bit of mothering, I guess. Huh? Right? Is everything all right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. He's got some drainage, so she's getting a little bit of a cough, I think. But
Uh-oh.
The 4-year-old.
Oh, no.
yeah, she's the one that has the allergies really bad. And it'll just kind of flare up out of nowhere, and we're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So.
And then she sneezes out a couple of lizards, and we're fine.
Exactly.
I never heard it that way before. That's
You'll
great.
hear it. Don't you know by now? I just make stuff up. None of it really makes sense. I just say it.
Just spew out some lizards, and
Yes.
we'll be good.
Like the broken plate.
Broken.
Yes, that'll be for another show. So Karen, what about you and your biblical war?
Biblical wars. Gosh, I don't know. Like I said, the Old Testament's just full of so many of them.
Just full of violence.
Yeah, I know, right? And the ones that are always so impressive are the ones that are fought with so little men.
Yeah,
I
love the ones that are averted. One of my favorites is the war that never was with. Why did I lose it now?
The battle belongs to the Lord. That's all I know.
I completely lost the book. It's in there, and I completely lost it. I got to look it up now.
That's all right.
You keep talking. I'm sorry. That's what happens when I interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Just I was thinking about just a few different ones. Of course, the 300. Where we start with 10,000 men and it whittles all the way down to 300, and they defeat thousands upon thousands of men, and then even just Deborah in the Bible, Deborah's in what, Judges, and just all the different wars and whatnot, and the armies are always you got to put yourself in two different positions. One, of course, the commander, who usually oftentimes is the one who's communicating with God or, praying or whatever that the Lord's put into place. But then also the soldiers, the people who are on the ground. Yeah. It's like, what must their faith be like? Is their faith in, when they see their commander, or when they see these men, especially when David was leading the armies and stuff, oftentimes we put our faith in that man, but when that man is in such a close relationship with God, it just makes us want to believe in God, and so
it's because he takes himself out of it.
Well, because it's a full reliance on God.
Yes.
And you can see that, this is what's going to happen. And even the small ones, I was teaching junior church as church, and it was the story of when after David beats Goliath and stuff, and he's best friends with Jonathan, which is Saul's son, and then Saul, basically Samuel like disowns Saul and basically tells him, the Lord's hand's not on you anymore and stuff. And so, it's one of those things where Jonathan and one of his close friends are scoping out this small gathering of people, and it's like 2 to 20, and they still are able to defeat them because Jonathan says, okay, like if they, leave us alone, then we'll leave them alone, but if they chide us to battle, we're going to go at it. And so it's like 2 versus 20, and they end up taking them all out and stuff. So those are always the fun ones. But I'm kind of reminded too of like when David and Bathsheba happen, it's because, David's supposed to be at war.
Oh, yeah.
It's like in the spring when kings are going out to war, David decided to stay back. And so, and that's when all of that stuff happened, the beginning and the end for him. And
he got himself in trouble,
yeah. But we got our best psalms out of it,
We really did.
So, so I don't know. That's when I think of battle, those are some of the things that I kind of think of. So, yeah.
I think in Samuel, 1 Samuel, there's a war with the going to find the Ark of the Covenant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was an interesting one. But I think overall with these battles and wars, the same kind of theme is going on, which means God tells you something to do, you obey it, and victory happens. And when that doesn't happen, when you don't obey, then say the Israelites get overcome, or his people get overcome, and he lets whoever is the enemy take over until they decide, okay, you're right.
Yeah, well, it's obedience.
Obedience.
When we're disobedient, we get what's coming to us. When we're obedient, oftentimes we can avoid those things, but mainly just because we're being obedient to God, and we're avoiding them because we're not getting ourselves in those situations. We're not we're not leaning on our own flesh and giving in to the things that we want. We're heavenly minded instead of earthly minded, and so
But anyway, we just really enjoy some of these battles. I'm glad we weren't in them, but.
Well, and again, like I said, it's such a rich part of history and a rich part of the Bible where we have the benefit of being able to look at it, and some of them are like the way that things are won is just like I love teaching junior church with some of these stories because like I don't think the kids realize that some of these stories are actually in the Bible.
Right.
Like the one where oh gosh, I forget what king it is, but he's on the run and he thinks that he's going into the tent of someone like a friend as opposed to a foe, and it's the friend's wife, and the wife ends up driving a tent stake through his head. Yeah, so we got to teach that one to the junior church kids, and then the one where the really super fat king gets stabbed in the belly. And so he gets stabbed in the belly, and he's so fat that it says that the sword gets swallowed up by his belly, basically. So those are always fun to teach the kids because they're just kind of like, what?
Don't stab my belly.
So it's interesting. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's fun, but. Hey guys, you know what? The future is upon us, and we have to rely and obey God just like they did back in the Old Testament and the New Testament and right now. So you obey God. That's what He wants. He wants obedience. He wants you to follow Him. And then, you know what? He'll be there for you. He won't leave you or forsake you. And that's what we got to remember as we go forward here in the future, no matter what happens, good or bad or indifferent. This is what we got to be going through together and with Jesus Christ. We're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we'll have some Karen and Bobby's crazy news. Oh, you don't want to miss that. I don't think you want to miss it. So check it out. We'll be right back.
This is Let's Get Jacked Up. We'll be right back after these messages on Fringe Radio Network.
Yeah,
you guys are man. I came prepared, and you just fluffed me up.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
You fluffed me up. Fluffed me up. awesome. Okay, so Tim, I give up. I'm closing my computer. I'm done.
Oh my gosh. You're such a baby.
I am. I don't like it when things don't go my way.
How did it...
What? What do you want to know?
You can't give me incorrect facts. I
didn't give you incorrect facts. I assumed you knew.
I'm sorry.
It's not my fault that my sarcasm resulted in you getting false information. I don't understand.
You can keep that one.
Remember to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Let's Get Jacked Up. Check out our website at letsgetjackedup.com. Listen and download our episodes from our website, the Spreaker app, and of course at fringeradionetwork.com.
Make sure to follow Fringe Radio Network on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and many other ways to get your favorite podcasts. Stay up to date on your favorite show on Fringe Radio Network. Listen to Let's Get Jacked Up live every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Time on FringeRadioNetwork.com and on FringePanda.com. Tell your friends.
X. I believe in God, the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth, and in Jesus Christ, his only Son, our Lord, who was conceived by the Holy Ghost, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died.
Welcome to the show. This is Ministry X. I'm going to talk about Jesus.
Do you think that's possible? Or is that sort of idea that we're talking about here?
Yes, I do.
I'm not sure what we're talking about exactly, but
I think we veered off course. Your podcasts usually do that.
okay, sure, fine. I'd like to think we're all seekers. And I don't know if you can hear that music right now, but that was not supposed to come on. Sorry, that was just too funky. We're all free thinkers, we're all truthers, we're all seekers. It's like a big, happy, fringe family here.
So what's this Ministry X? Where'd you find Ministry X? That show is so good.
Really good. It's very high quality. Good podcast.
He actually edits so good.
It is so finely polished. He goes to more effort than any of us.
Focus on yourself.
Where are we right now? Where's the music? And this is what I do to bring you the latest UFO news and updates and new discoveries from the fringe. New conspiracies, prophecy, and revelation. We do talk a lot about the aliens.
Yeah. A new strategy for bringing people into the kingdom and getting them excited about Jesus.
X. But something significant has changed. And maybe this is the most important key element of this whole operation. And that's the subject of UFOs is no longer in the realm of ridicule. Scientists can explore these topics. Writers can write about these topics and not be dismissed any longer as a crazy person. Yeah, what's this wall in space thing?
Listen to Ministry X on FringeRadioNetwork.com and bonus material now on FringePanda.com.
We have pure drinking water, but we struggle with pure lives. We can have healthy food with clean plates and utensils, but we struggle to have clean hearts. We want to breathe unpolluted, uncontaminated air, but we don't know how to remove polluted thoughts. How can anyone keep his or her way pure? Hi, this is Chips Ross, and I serve Jesus as pastor of Westwood Baptist Church in Fresno, California. Psalm 119, verse 9 opens with that question: how is it possible that anyone could keep their ways pure, holy, sinless? I don't like impossible missions, but this sure seems like one. But it is possible, because the answer is by means of the Word of God. And for some, that doesn't seem like much of an answer. How does an ancient book make one pure? How does words on a page enable one to overcome temptation? The truth is that the Bible is God's Word, which means it is His power to defeat those powerful desires for sin. So if purity is possible by means of the Word of God, what is this specific pathway? How can we do this? First, you must treasure and delight in God's Word. Your Word I have treasured in my heart, that I may not sin against you. I shall delight in your statutes. I shall not forget your Word. The more you love God's Word, the more you obey it. The Bible is not intended to be dry and dull, but to express the comforting love and transforming truth of the God who wrote it. Second, you must speak and think about God's Word. With my lips I have told of all the ordinances of your mouth. I will meditate on your precepts and regard your ways. God's Word is not meant to be in one ear and out the other, but to be part of you, to be internalized. The Bible reveals how much God loves you and how to change your internal character. The Scriptures are not old and dull, but living, active, transforming. Read God's Word, love it, think on it, repeat often, if not daily, and you will see purity in your ways, your thoughts, your heart.
So maybe you've got a friend, a coworker, a family member in your life who's hungry for spiritual nourishment. Let them know about FringePanda.com. Let them know about Ministry X. Let them know about all the other great shows there. Even if they're not a believer, not yet. Let a friend know about Fringe Radio Network. Let them know about the Fringe Panda. And if you like it, go to FringeRadioNetwork.com and check out Ministry X, check out Spirit Wars, check out Let's Get Jacked Up and Naked Bible, The Mind Renewed with Julian Charles, Nuclear Knucklehead, Raven Creek, A Minute to Midnight,
and much more at FringeRadioNetwork.com and now FringePanda.com.
Welcome back to the show. This is Let's Get Jacked Up on Fringe Radio Network.
Oh, by the way, I gotta put a shout out. Somebody tagged Let's Get Jacked Up. Tim Parrish, I have your potato chips. The Let's Get Jacked Up crew, they were like, oh, these Maui chips are so good. Hey, Basham's in Hawaii. Let's ask him if he's got any. Maybe he can send us some. And I was like, sure. And I warned him. I'm like, I'm going to go out to the store and buy these chips for you, and then I'm going to eat them. That's what's going to happen. Until I finally get around to like getting a box and stuffing it full of. So until then, here's to Tim. Here's to you guys. I'm eating your chips. Oh yeah. Oh. Salt and vinegar. Oh yeah. Oh, you can't just eat one. Oh. Oh, just imagine how delicious those chips are. But thanks a lot, Tim. I went out and bought 4 bags of potato chips. Guess what? We're down to 1 bag. Yeah, that's your fault. No, I'll eventually get you guys your chips.
I love it. That's one of my favorites. And did you notice Michael's like, oh no, potato chips in the commercial. Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Oh, I love you, Michael.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else was on besides Michael this when the show first started, but Karen paid tribute to said commercial by chomping on her own chips.
I don't think anybody heard that because we weren't hooked up properly at that time.
Oh,
I'm pretty
that
sure
was
I
on
ate
the
them
bus.
intermittently,
Yeah.
so I'm sure someone got to
I'm
be
celebrating
blessed with that. So.
I'm celebrating with some stale popcorn.
popcorn.
Oh.
If it's stale, then why am I still getting the crunch?
Yeah, that's the crack of all the sugar
There it is.
and
It is sugar
caramelization that is on top of it.
Because usually stale popcorn.
There's cinnamon toast crunch, like candy popcorn or something. It's really yum. Anyway,
well, no, because usually the stale popcorn is all mushy, right? And like soft.
that's what I was trying to say. This
Yeah.
one's got the crunch
I
still.
got some mushy ones out.
Do you understand? It's so crunchy. It's one of the most crunchiest popcorns I've ever tasted in my entire life. And I'm an old person.
So, Michael, just to let you know, I haven't talked to you in a while. I'm not on Facebook anymore because I can't get back in. So
Not because he got grounded.
No.
He forgot the password.
I forgot. And then they want my entire life to just get back in the thing. And I'm like, I don't know about that one. Even though they probably already know everything about me. But
They do.
Well, I don't need to put my address in there. Come on.
They wanted your address?
Yes. Well, they want the ID, right? Your ID
Dude,
card.
have you ever got on to Facebook while you were in your house? They know your address.
Well, they know my IP address.
They know your address. They know my
Pete's
address.
sakes.
They know that when I'm at home, they'll start saying things like, who you at home with or whatever.
What?
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
That's creepy.
It's creepy, crazy.
It's creepy and real, I guess.
Not creepy enough to keep you off of it.
By the way, I've heard a rumor. I don't know if this is true, but I'm a conspiracy guy. So,
are you?
Did you know that? I will tell you that the rumor is Facebook is run by the government.
Plot twist.
Duh.
CIA, FBI, whatever.
Yes, of course. Haven't you seen Have you seen the memes where they have Zuckerberg compared to Data from Next Generation, and they look like the same person? You know what I'm talking about, right? Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah.
So Data. If you do a picture of Data next to a picture of Zuckerberg while he's giving his testimonies, it looks like the same.
Yeah.
They both look like androids.
Well, maybe they are.
That's what
Karen, what do you think about that? Are they androids?
Oh, gosh. No.
No?
No, they're not androids.
Are they robots?
No, it's even worse.
No, they're holograms.
Yes, they're Democrats.
They're Democrats.
Remember that cartoon Gem and the Holograms?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, my sister. I grew up with that, with my sister watching it, so I had to watch Gem.
Gem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the song? Do you remember how it goes?
No, I just know it was kind of rocky.
In many ways.
Gem? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Gem, you're going to live forever.
No, that's not.
No, that's not. I'm making my own Gem. All right, well, let's pretend we had the theme song because I can't find it on here.
That's fine. I'll look it up
have
later.
your sound effects, because that's really all that matters.
No, it doesn't. He never does. Okay, fine.
I'll find my sound effects.
Do you have anything?
Ew.
Just eat it.
No.
I don't want it.
Shrimp tail.
I don't want a shrimp tail.
We got to use Telegram now. Oh, yeah, Let's Get Jacked Up does have a Telegram.
Do we?
Yeah, we do. We just don't use it often, but we do.
That's what you can do instead now.
Yes.
Flood the Telegram instead of the Facebook. Well, they're changing Facebook to what? Meta Face?
I'm not even sure what that means, except that maybe...
it's because they're going in a different direction. Yes.
Yeah.
They're really pushing on that, the 4D stuff.
But what does that mean? Like, I know what... I guess
Well, they own Oculus. And so,
right.
I think they're really trying to push in this whole immersion. Have you ever seen Real Player One? I think they're really pushing for that type of...
Oh, I got to watch that movie.
Quote, utopian society.
So what's going to happen then is... What did I do here? I don't know. What's going to happen is we're all going to look like 3D.
Huh?
If we use that, we're all going to be like...
Yeah, so you're going to have like your own avatar. You can make yourself look like whatever you want. You can... become fully immersed in it, where you can. They're talking about how you would actually go to your job inside of these things.
Whoa!
And you would have like digital currency with digital Starbucks, with a digital girlfriend or whatever. It's ridiculous.
Wow! All right. Well, let's try some crazy news.
Hey.
If that's not crazy enough.
Well, I'll do my best.
Okay. And Bobby and Karen's crazy news. Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun.
you don't have the music?
That's what I'm saying. I can't find... Because, look, I'm using this new...
Like 3 minutes.
This new old computer, which doesn't have all that
Your
stuff
new
on it.
old computer.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, fine. Bobby's crazy news.
That is a new
Wow,
theme song right
that
there.
is,
That's the new
Isn't
theme
that what it sounds like?
I've never seen your tongue flicker quite so fast in my life. That was amazing.
Because I'm usually behind you.
Amazing. like a turkey.
Mine sounds like a turkey. Hers sounded like...
Oh, by the way, Thanksgiving's coming up. I don't know if you know this. All right. It's 2 weeks away.
Just got the memo.
Oh, gosh.
I need to have your friend Lars again. Okay.
Okay.
We'll talk off air, but
I'll
yeah.
see if I can communicate with him. Yeah.
That'd be funny.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Lars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. No music. Okay, let me get started.
I know you're.
If you're
all
waiting
thrown off.
for it, it's never going to come. So
It has
keep
thrown him
going.
off.
Okay. All right. So, 29-year-old man in upstate New York who covered himself in hand sanitizer burst into flames after police used a taser on him.
What?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Jason Jones. That's a
Jones
name.
and me.
That's a. We like to set things on fire. All right. Yeah, he'd entered the police department last week and got into a confrontation with officers. Police told the newspaper, that Jones, who was known to them from previous encounters, appeared intoxicated, and the officers used a taser to subdue him.
So, do you get like a suicide by cop?
I don't know.
Vibe off of this one, or
I have no idea. Jones is in intensive care at the Upstate University Hospital, according to the paper. People familiar with the matter told the paper that that his condition is very grave. Yeah, the investigation. It's currently under investigation, and he doesn't look like the most. Yeah, he looks like just some average white dude. Nothing
but again,
fancy about him.
personal accountability. I guarantee he gets out and sues.
But my thing is, it's like what? Why would he douse himself in hand sanitizer? That just doesn't make. I mean, maybe was it a tragic accident? Did he maybe spill? He was already intoxicated. He went to pump, and the pump squirted all over his clothes. And made him angry, and he felt he needed to complain, so he goes to the police to say, this hand sanitizer container is faulty, and I want to file a complaint. And they said, get away. That as a shotgun. But I don't know, it just seems so bizarre to me. Yeah. Anyway. So don't put hand sanitizer on your body if you plan on going into the police station while intoxicated. No. Because it could end badly.
Yes, you could slip and fall.
Speaking of fire, a Colorado man set his mom's house on fire. Yeah, while trying to clear cobwebs using a blowtorch.
That Swiffer just ain't getting it like it used to.
Dude looks like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. Yeah, so his name is John Charles Stretchenbach.
They always have three names. The good ones always have
John
three
Charles
names.
Stretchenbach was arrested on suspicion of first-degree arson, criminal mischief, causing $20,000 to $100,000 worth of damages, and being in possession of a controlled substance. Fire authorities responded to the home. And it says here that the fire personnel, upon arriving, could see smoke coming from the roof of the single-story family residence. And the investigators say the man acknowledged that he used the blowtorch to clear cobwebs in the crawl space under the home. What? You're literally... The worst place to have a fire start is at the bottom of all the kinder. It just the kindling. I mean, it just
At what point did it seem like this was a great idea to this guy? I don't understand.
As I said, he was a little bit on the under the influence, if you will.
Even then,
yeah. Mm-hmm. He said he tried to put the fire out for an hour by himself before calling the cops.
Oh no.
I messed up.
These are I don't know which one is the better contender for the Darwin Awards here.
Yeah, there's some good ones out there. The man had a court order barring him from being within 100 feet of the home and being around his mother, who lived in the house. His mother told investigators that she had been allowing him to stay at the home because he was homeless, even though he had a restraining order against him to be around her. Yeah. Yeah. So just know that if you have cobwebs in your basement or in your crawl space, don't use a firebomb. It's not a good idea.
Probably not a good idea.
Well, yeah, it's funny because I can remember us. Do you remember the patio furniture we used to have in the backyard? And there was a black widow in like the corner.
Yes. Uh-huh.
What did we use to kill the black widow?
No, you did. We used hairspray.
Hairspray and a lighter.
Oh, well, that's just as...
Yeah, we made her a little at-home
dude,
torch,
and it was so, yeah, it was so, that thing was so big that you could hear it screaming.
Like
you
that.
did. You could hear it screaming. I know it was just like the whistles from its joints or whatever, but it was pretty intense.
Well, I hope
whistles from its joints.
Yeah, you've never heard that?
No.
You've never? Oh, okay.
No.
You got to pay attention next time.
You're absolutely
all right. How about this? A La Jolla pizza maker feels harassed by a derogatory message on a car parked in front of their business.
That was not what I thought it was.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry.
So the owner of a La Jolla Take and Bake Pizzeria says that he's feeling harassed by the presence of a car often
like
parked.
The Titanic.
It was so sad. So sad.
I was looking for a whistle, and that was not one of them.
Nope, that's not the whistle we wanted. Anyways, it says here that so this guy, he's throwing a fit because there's this car that's parked in front of his house, and it looks like
place of business.
In front of his place of business, yeah, sorry. And it's a Mercedes-Benz GLS 600 luxury SUV. And it's covered with the phrase, "Take and Bake sucks." And the planes, and then also it reads, "Just say no to Take and Bake pizza." And this guy is feeling harassed by this. The American Pizza Manufacturing... Yes, which opened in 2020, offers pizzas that are assembled in the store and then you bake at home, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we've had those before. They're not horrible. But the owner says that the negative message about his business started in around October of last year. And the messages have spurred a thread on social media with more than 200 comments.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is it like a dueling business? Like, is it another business, or is it just like a pissed off patron? Like, what is going on here?
I'm sure it's we'll get into that in just a second. It says some believe the person responsible is a La Jolla resident who went by the name AJ Thakor.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Does he know
and he
James
owns
Charles Rickenbacham
he owns a
or
digital marketing firm in the city. And so, but he's denying any involvement.
Mm.
He said it started passively at the beginning, but now it's kind of trending. So, there you go. Yeah,
who does the car belong to? No one knows?
I'm trying to see here. Yeah, it doesn't say who it belongs to.
Yeah, that's weird.
Aha!
No.
Yes.
What is the opposite of what you just played?
Yeah,
there you go. That's more of a.
Okay, this one is the best one. Let me see if I can pull it up. All right. I don't think you're ready for this one. Ready?
Oh, mercy.
Arby's. Raise your hand if you like Arby's.
I love Arby's.
Raise your hand if you like Arby's sandwiches.
I've only ever been to Arby's once.
Yeah.
It was not,
How about this?
Memorable.
Do you like
Sandwiches.
Arby's? Do you like Arby's French fries?
Yeah, the curly fries.
Okay. Well, be prepared for
Am
this
I not
one.
gonna like it?
Are you ready? Arby's may have the meats, but it will soon have something else on their palate for those who are 21 and older.
Oh.
Vodka. Arby's is entering the world of spirits and with two new delicious, this is in quotations, delicious and distinctive flavors.
Wow.
Yes. And those, you know what those flavors are?
What?
Crinkle fries or curly fries.
Well, okay.
Yes. Their vodka is going to be crinkle fry flavored or curly fry flavored.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's not right.
The limited edition vodkas.
Where's your...
So these vodkas are going to be distilled in Minneapolis. And the curly fry vodka is said to be distilled with cayenne, paprika, onion, and garlic.
and preserves the distinguished and authentic flavor profile of the traditional Arby's curly fry.
I taste Goldschlager.
I don't even taste Goldschlager.
I don't know.
I mean,
just
listen,
swear
I don't want
spice.
if I ever decide that I want to have like an alcoholic beverage, I don't know that I want it to taste like an everything bagel.
Oh,
because that's kind of like garlic and
See, but vodka is not something you just sit there and sip. I mean, I guess you can, but it's like more of a shooter.
It's a shot, but not a shot of French fries.
Yeah.
Oh,
gross.
Okay, so check this out. It says that Arby's is also partnered with a celebrity chef who created 2 Bloody Mary recipes, both with the vodka flavors. The recipes
that's what I was thinking.
also include Arby's menu items like the horseradish ranch, and their Arby sauce.
I like that.
Would you want that in a breakfast
Mary.
in a breakfast alcoholic drink though?
I don't even know what that means.
Okay, so anyway, starting on the 22nd of this month, you can actually purchase the bottles in California, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., Florida, Idaho, Louisiana, Minnesota, Nebraska, Nevada, Oregon, all these places, which none of our listeners are, but you can get it for about $60.
Just in
$60
time for
a bottle.
Thanksgiving.
Yes.
What?
$60 a bottle, man. That's a bargain if I ever heard one.
Oh, man.
Yes.
What
Yes,
did you
indeed.
say?
All right, so QAnon crowd. You guys know about the QAnon crowd, right? Raise your hand if you listen to the QAnon.
Yes.
Did you ever have you ever not listened to the QAnon?
What does that mean? Have I never not listened?
Have you ever heard something that QAnon did or said and was like, yeah, that just seems a little far-fetched?
Yeah.
A lot of it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you heard about this in Dallas a couple of weeks ago, maybe, or about a week ago, that a crowd showed up, about 300 or more people showed up in Dallas because they were convinced that JFK Jr. was going to come back.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, because QAnon told them they would.
But here's the problem. They keep sending out dates, and those dates come, and nothing happens.
Well, that's you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of those, remember those preachers that used to prophecy?
Yes.
And they would always be like,
the rapture's happening on this date. Yeah.
October 27th, 1997. There's going to be a catastrophic event. God has said so.
And then it comes and goes.
God has seen us and decided to show mercy on us.
Anyway.
Keep going. It's good.
Supposed to be the QAnon voice?
No, that's the preacher. That was the preacher. You weren't paying attention. You're on Facebook. But yeah, so they believed that JFK Jr. was going to come in. And it was like this crazy thing. So he was going to come in and he was going to bring with him some other person. No, not Elvis, but it was going to be some other thing. And yeah, it was going to be a bonkers. And that basically KFJ Jr.
The Colonel was going to appear.
JFK Jr. was going to come in and then assume the presidential role and then give the presidential role away. I don't know. It was so complicated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The Colonel will be
his
here.
right by birth.
Yes, apparently, yes.
Oh, no.
So it didn't happen, I take it.
No, it didn't. They were very sad.
Too bad.
Yeah.
I was hoping for JFK Jr. It's too bad it didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen. But yeah, so, and of course, once the media shared this, then people started getting crazy about it, and they're like, oh, they're just so sad that JFK Jr. wasn't there. Maybe if they wait for Robin Williams or Richard Pryor next.
Richard Pryor?
Yeah. The idea of that it's just dead people.
By the way,
or maybe, how about this one? Then they said, well, we can always try maybe Kobe Bryant, or how about Dale Earnhardt, or Tupac? How about him? Why don't we wait for him next?
My sister saw Richard Pryor flying. In the airport, he was late for a flight, so he was running like the wind.
Okay.
And he was trying to catch a plane.
Richard Pryor.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, with his wacky hair.
And how old was he at the time?
I don't remember. She was probably a teenager.
Okay. And I think that's it for my crazy news. Yeah, there's some sad stuff going on too. What was that for?
Karen's up.
Oh.
Is that my intro? Okay.
Good luck. She is not prepared.
How dare you?
Hey, but
I was
one thing.
prepared 3 stories ago.
Oh, were you?
Lord.
Let me just say one thing while you get yourself put together. So you know how like we have all this defund the police, and we have all these like cracking down on police instead of on the people that are causing us to need more police.
That should be, yes.
So apparently, there's a huge shortage of repair glass for cars in San Francisco because the car break-ins are on such a high rate right now.
Oh my!
Yeah, they literally, and I watched this guy on YouTube with the girls. They tracked this guy, and he literally was just trolling the parking lots. Like you would see him. He broke into a car that they had set up for someone to break into. Right, stole the package. The package had GPS on it. Right, so he took the GPS package, threw it in his car, and he drove around. And he literally drove, and you could see he goes up into a neighborhood where there is a parking lot, and then you see it just spinning around and around and around, and then spinning the other way, and then coming out and hitting another spot. And they did it for like an hour.
Really?
Yeah, just going around and just bashing windows, taking stuff, and going.
I saw something like that. I don't know if it was that, but they're just going to stores and taking crap.
Oh yeah, I've seen that too. Because they passed that new rule where if it's like under $500, they won't prosecute or something.
Yeah.
And why would you say stuff like that?
Right. That's and then or they go into a Target and take stuff out and they can't do anything.
Yeah. Well, it's like my daughters, right? So I tell my daughters, you have a 3-hour limit on your on internet use, right? And that includes homework. That includes everything. So get your homework done first, whatever, right? What do? Every single day, it's exactly it. I mean, they run it until it's completely gone.
The 3-hour limit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to
$2.59,
or they don't know how to budget it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I have one who constantly is not getting her homework done because she's wasting her time, and I'm done trying to give her free time. So I'm just like, you know what, you don't get to turn in your homework then.
Ooh.
Well, wasting your time. That's what happens. Prioritize.
Dad,
I don't care. Anyway, okay, Karen, your turn. Hi.
I'm going to give you just 2 more scrolls just in case, because you said my turn about 7 minutes ago, and then you said, oh, you know what's funny about that is that this right here. So.
Karen's on top of it.
Denzel Washington? Yeah? Okay.
It's actually pronounced Dunzel.
Denzel. You got some movie news or something?
Yeah. Where's my intro music? Gosh.
Ooh, we should have
second rate. Okay.
Give it up already. Come on, baby.
Okay. So I have I can't tell if this is sad or if it's just kind of a head scratcher, but okay. So, horrified family sues. Okay.
Sorry.
Horrified family sues funeral homes and the city over claim the corpse fell out of the casket during the burial.
Wow. Well, don't use a cardboard box.
In the complaint, a late Massachusetts man's family alleges that one side of the straps of the city-owned casket lowering device broke, which caused the casket to break, to fall and break.
That's horrible.
That's horrible.
So his family is filing a lawsuit against the funeral home and also the city, alleging negligence and reckless infliction of emotional distress. In the complaint, the family members allege that during this burial on April 5th, one side of the straps of the city-owned casket lowering device broke, causing Mr. So-and-so's casket to fall into the grave and break apart.
What?
Then...
That's crazy.
Then his corpse fell out of the casket into the grave and began oozing fluid.
Oh.
I don't know why that's so funny.
Witnessing the incident at the Bellevue Cemetery, that his loved ones were horrified and visibly distraught and hysterical. Several family members leapt into the grave to care for the corpse, which ultimately was removed from the grave and brought back to the funeral home. He was laid to rest a few days later. So now, his family is seeking damages.
Wow.
For the ripe old picking of $1.2 million.
Yes, because why?
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
$100,000 per plaintiff.
Wow.
And the attorney adds, our office provided a video of the city of Lawrence of the incident, so apparently there is footage.
Oh, come on.
That's exciting.
So,
wow.
And again, like I said, on the fence here. I'm kind of on the fence where I'm just like, I can understand like what the trauma and everything that they've gone through and, things like that, but like accidents happen.
That's
like
so crazy.
I don't know.
I would find that to be very interesting. Would you want to sue someone if that happened to your grandpa?
Imagine
if it happened to your dad. If
Imagine
your dad
if you
is
will.
in his box and it's for whatever reason it's been an extended long amount of time for things to be oozing out, because typically your bodies don't ooze.
Ugh.
I know, right?
So I think there might have been a little bit of hyperbole there, but but how would you
roll the video footage?
Yeah, let me see. Is it maybe just like a slightly broken down, decaying eyeball or something?
No, I think it was. Yeah, I don't know.
Formaldehyde.
I mean, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. That's that personal responsibility again, where it's just kind of like, okay, like accidents happen.
No, it's just yuck, Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely got to be traumatic for sure. I'm reminded of I have an aunt who is mentally retarded, and she had a hysterectomy in her late 40s and early 40s, and she's not very high functioning, and she had a hysterectomy, and right after the procedure we noticed that she was starting to run a fever and things like that. We thought, okay, maybe infection, stuff like that. Well, it turns out that during the procedure, the surgeon sliced her ureter, which is basically one of the tubes that goes from your bladder, from your kidneys to your bladder, and so she was basically the urine was going into her body.
Oh, gee.
And so they had to, and because she's mentally retarded and not really verbal, she wasn't able to explain how she was feeling or, anything like that. And so, she almost died. She went septic, and it was a lot. And it was one of those things where it's like, what is the right thing to do here? There's malpractice for a reason and stuff, but accidents happen. It's not like it was done purposefully, and so that's where it was rough. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of liken this situation to that, where it's just kind of like accidents happen, but at the same time, you want restitution. Like, you want something to be done about what's been done to your loved one. And so
yeah, but again, it's tough because sometimes it's just accidents.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's an uncontrollable thing. Seeing in a body when there's no life in that body, that's like, it's like a bag of bones. It really is. It just
that's gonna be true.
There's it's like
That's
flopping
trauma,
in,
you know?
bending in ways it's not
Well,
supposed
but
to.
not only that, but just the idea of once your mind and your eyes are such a, once you view an image, it is very, very hard to get that image out of your head. And once, especially if you're exposed to it for, long periods of time, as long as it takes to get a dead body out of a grave, that's wild. So
that's wild.
So that's my news.
Oh, only the one.
That
but it's
took
a doozy.
a turn.
It took a turn. All right. So everybody enjoy those. Try to get some sleep tonight.
So yes, we are on
the Telegram.
On the Telegram.
How do you even get it? Because I'm looking at it. I don't even know how to get Telegram. Is it a
It's
messaging
an
app?
Yeah.
Okay, but you can't get it on your computer apparently.
It's another one of those apps. I'm looking at it right now. It's the LGJU crew. But if you look up "Let's Get Jacked Up," it should pop up.
LGJU crew.
Yeah, well, that's like the name of the chat. But, anyways,
nice.
So
okay.
Yeah, we'll see. So,
LGJU.
Christy Johnson, if you want to check that out, try looking up Let's Get Jacked Up. We don't really have too many followers on that because I haven't really promoted it, but we should.
There's so many platforms. Hey, so when the Donald J. Trump app comes out, are you going to get that one too?
Yes, but I forgot the name of that.
Is it actually out? They actually have a name for it?
They do.
Is it called like Freedom First or something like that?
I think something like that, yeah.
I'm kidding. Seriously?
No, it does have the word freedom in it.
Does it really?
I believe so.
Oh, boy.
Do
you think it's going to be successful?
Oh, yeah. Why?
You really think it's going to be successful?
Yes.
Do you know why Facebook is successful?
Why?
Because there's a bunch of ridiculous liberal so-and-sos who literally their entire life is based around what happens and why other people think the way they think about them. Okay. I don't know that most people who would want to get to the Trump thing, I don't think they care about that type of stuff. At least I would like to hope so. So I don't know that it would have the same fuel because you don't have a bunch of bozos, influencers or whatever trying to make themselves.
He said bozos.
Whatever they are.
Yeah, no, but I think it will be. I think it will be a hit because there'll be no censorship.
No censorship. Little. Yeah, but you know what's going to happen? The first time there's no censorship, it's just going to be all porn.
Nah.
Yeah? Tell me.
I don't mean not that. Okay, there might be censorship in that, and there should be. But I'm talking about, saying stuff you want to say.
Oh, okay. So as far as speech goes.
Yes, freedom of speech. Yes, okay. Not necessarily, hey, let's show everything.
Not freedom of expression.
Is that what it would be, I guess?
I don't know.
Or art. Maybe they call that art. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if that could be considered art. Anyway, sorry.
Wow. That was great timing, wasn't it?
That escalated quickly.
What was that? Was that a shotgun?
No. This is body slam, so I just wanted to see what it sounded like because we were talking about bodies before and I forgot to press it. Sounds like a gun.
It's. I think it's a body slam on if it was a WWE fight or something. Yeah. Oh boy! All right. Well, Tim, it's 11-ish.
I'm playing sounds,
and now you're just making sounds for no apparent reason.
But hey, you want to thank people listening: Christy Johnson, Michael Basham,
the Basham.
Anybody else listening that was not in the chat room, but you were still listening. We appreciate you listening.
Yeah,
especially
it's fun.
Since we were late.
Well, and it's fun too because we try to be as unscripted as possible.
I think most people know this.
Yeah, I mean, we used to try to be scripted. Do you remember that? And it turned into nothing but Bible reading, which is there's nothing wrong with that, but it can be very.
Wow.
It can just be very dry.
How dare you?
It's just very dry. That's all.
We didn't want to be a Bible study, but at the same time, we definitely want to talk about it.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. It's about living the living word, right? It's not about just
In the beginning, God created heaven.
Do you remember that when our friend whose namesake is of the show, chapters, just reading it, chapters, and I would say, Mr. Jack.
We love you, buddy.
Anyway.
With that said, who wants to lead us out in prayer?
I'll do it.
Yes.
Okay. Everybody, please bow your heads with me. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you today just so thankful that you've given us this time, this opportunity to just sit back and reflect on our relationship with you. Lord, it can always be better. I don't think there's anyone out there who can say that they have met your terms, Lord. You are always wanting us to step outside of our comfort zone, go beyond our means, Lord, for your sake and for your credit. Lord, and I pray that we would just be mindful of that, Lord, and that we would not be so afraid. You know, when opportunities come, that we eagerly take them and not try to wait for somebody else to pick up the slack or to think that it's beyond our means, Lord. Lord, again, I just pray for those people who are listening. I pray that they have a good week, Lord, that they can just see you and the glory that is this planet that you've given us to live on, Lord. You know, there's a lot of corruption out there, but there is also so much more beauty if we would just turn our eyes and look up to you in that reflection. Lord, I just we thank you for the air that we breathe. We thank you for the clothes on our back, Lord, and we just pray that as we draw closer to the end, Lord, that we'd hear those whispers, those calls of correction, those little nuggets of godliness that the world is adamantly ignoring and denying, Lord. And again, we are eagerly awaiting the day of redemption, and we ask this all in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Well, hopefully we'll be live next week. Check it out. Even if we're not, we'll have something fun for you to listen to.
It will be good.
Yes, it will be. And guys, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. And remember, be in this world, but not of this world. So long, everybody.
Remember to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Let's Get Jacked Up. Check out our website at letsgetjackedup.com. Listen and download our episodes from our website, the Spreaker app, and of course at fringeradionetwork.com.
You're listening to us on The Fringe Radio